Hello, my friends. We're live. I'm standing, as you can see perhaps by the sign behind me, at 180 Queen Street West. That is the office of the Federal Court of Canada here in Toronto. Let me spin around so you can see, and I think you can see my smile. I can't believe it, but Rebel News, I'll stop blocking the camera. Rebel News just won in court, along with Candace Malcolm and Andrew Lawton of True North. Our two reporters, Cian Bexty and David Menzies, had applied for accreditation at the leaders' debate in Ottawa tonight. And we applied like everyone else, and so did Andrew Lawton of True North. And we applied and we filled out the forms, and then at the very last minute, on Friday morning, we all received an email, but the email didn't come from the Debates Commission. It came from the Government of Canada saying, sorry, you can't go because you're too much advocacy journalist or something like that. It doesn't even make sense. What's an advocacy journalist? The government had a tough time explaining that today. Anyways, so we found out that news on Friday morning, and it was obviously sharp practice on behalf of the government to give us no time to file a lawsuit, but we did anyways. We retained a law firm. They worked all weekend, full tilt. They filed the documents over the course of the weekend, and at 8:30 a.m. we all came to court today and sort of surprised the courthouse because, of course, while the Government of Canada, their lawyers were on it, no judges knew this was cooking until 8:30. So the first thing they had to do is find a judge who was able to take this case on short notice. And then the judge had to read literally hundreds of pages. Now, the judge didn't read every single word, but he read enough. He read the affidavits, he skimmed other materials, and then he had a 90-minute hearing. And the first thing to know about that hearing is that the lawyers on our side were paid for by us, by our viewers, but the lawyers on the other side were paid for by, I'm sorry to say it, you. The government used taxpayers' money to bring not only Justice Department lawyers, but also lawyers from the Debate Commission. And what was so frustrating to me is not only that there were 5 lawyers on the other side, but there was lawyers from the Attorney General who said, oh, we have no horse in this fight, we aren't taking a side, but then they proceeded to take up 20 minutes arguing against us. But I got a good feeling quite soon, because first of all, the lawyer for True North was excellent. And then our lawyers were excellent. I've had a lot of lawyers. They were so concise. They made the case so convincingly. And then I saw the questions from the judge. He had a few questions here and there, but his questions really started zeroing in on the government. Questions like, if it's not important and valuable to be invited in, why does everyone want to get in? And did the commission really make this decision? Or did they hand it back to the government? There were lots of good questions, and I didn't want my hopes to rise. I'll tell you candidly, our lawyers said we didn't have a big chance, and I didn't want to allow hope to grow. And what can you say? But the judge said, I'll be back in 15 minutes, and he came back in, and long story short, he commanded that the Debates Commission immediately accredit David Menzies and Cian Bexty for the debates tonight. He ordered the Debates Commission to do it. And I want to say, besides the outstanding performance of the lawyers, I'm just thrilled, and I know I'm gushing about the lawyers, and besides the fact that David Menzies, Cian Bexty, and Andrew Lawton applied and said, we're not going to roll over, and I salute Candace Malcolm of True North too. What was so notable to me was the absence of any journalism organizations and the absence of any civil liberties groups in the courthouse itself. What do I mean by that? There's a group called Canadian Journalists for Free Expression. They've been silent on this. There's a group called Canadian Association of Journalists. Not only are they silent on this, the government invoked them as a reason to ban us. There's a group called PEN Canada. They weren't there. There's a group called Amnesty International. They weren't there. There's a group called the Canadian Civil Liberties Association. They weren't there. There was no one there. There were no other media organizations that thought, well, we might not like Rebel News or True North, but just it's in the interests of a free society that we actually have freedom of the press, and it's not up to the whims of the government. Not a single intervener, not a single friend. But you know what? Liberty didn't need any other friends today because it had our lawyers and it had Rebel, and True North, and we won. We bloody well won. I can't believe it. We won in 15 minutes. So to sum up, excuse me, the judge said not only is the debate commission ordered to accredit us, but granting that immediate injunction. But I believe that this has set a new standard, a new legal precedent in Canada, that Justin Trudeau cannot simply discredit or ban journalists he doesn't like. And you would think that that is normal and that everyone would have that point of view, but no, there was no one else in court today. Shame on the other media for, frankly, being fine with it, because they all got in and they're all on the bailout. Shame on the other media. Shame on the civil liberties associations for being anything but. Shame on Justin Trudeau, of course, but shame on Andrew Scheer, who was asked about this morning by Andrew Lawton, and he had nothing to say because he doesn't really believe in freedom of speech. Congratulations to Candace Malcolm of True North, who actually was the first to file a lawsuit. We were the second. And I suppose the final thank you would be a massive thank you to our Rebel viewers who chipped in to pay for our legal costs. Now, the court at the end made a ruling saying costs will be in the cause, which means if this matter continues through court, like we're going to be in today, there's no two ways about it, Kian and David will be allowed in today. But if the government appeals and wants a bigger fight, then the cost for today's event will be determined at the end of that. That's what costs in the cause mean. Anyway, I just want to give you a quick live update on this. I'm just thrilled. It's vindication. Now, sometimes you give up. Sometimes you think, is the entire establishment against us? You've got the universities, you've got pop culture, you've got the media party, you've got so many activist groups. Here we found a judge on the federal court who said, you know what? The rule of law still means something, and Justin Trudeau might think he's a prince, but we got a few rules. And the judge says he'll produce detailed reasons if required. He didn't get into the detailed reasons today, but for whatever reason, today a judge said you simply can't ban reporters from an event because you have a different political point of view. Should be obvious, and maybe now it's obvious, but look, that's the thing about Justin Trudeau and Gerald Butts. They never really respected the independence of the judiciary. Don't ask me, ask Jody Wilson-Raybould. All right, folks, that's it for now. I'm just going to hop in my car, drive back up to the office, do a little bit of work. But for now, I think freedom took a great leap forward, and not because of any official civil liberties groups. They were hiding under the bed. But because of Rebel News and True North and our supporters fought for freedom, which is what we do every day. All right, folks, that's it for now. Thanks for your support. Bye-bye.